Hello everyone and welcome to my Y&R Insider 24 update channel. Sally gets money from Jill for Abbott communications. The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal that Jill Abbott, Jess Walton, will come back to Genoa City at Jack Abbott, Peter Bergman, and Victor Newman, Eric Braeden, request. However, Sally Spectra, Courtney Hope, will meet with Jill as well. Will Jill give Sally the money for Abbott communications? Can Jill help Sally keep Billy Abbott, Jason Thompson, from spiraling? Sally Spectra needs Jill Abbott's advice. Sally loves Billy and wants to be a part of his life. However, Sally has seen just how upset Billy is with Jill as well. Billy and Sally hope to start Abbott communications back up after Kane Ashby, Billy Flynn, ruined their startup party. However, Jack has pulled his money out of the company thanks to Billy's rants. Will Jill give Sally that startup money without telling Billy the truth? Billy would never ask his mother for the money to start his own business after the way she treated him over Chancellor. Billy had big plans for Chancellor and was doing pretty good with it. Nevertheless, Jill made the decision to believe lies and sold that business to Victor instead. Billy is still upset with his mother over this. Kane Ashby is Jill Abbott's favorite over Billy Abbott. Jill tends to choose Kane over Billy and always has. Unfortunately, Kane is not Jill's son at all. Kane is the child of Colin Atkinson, Tristan Rogers, and Genevieve Atkinson, Jeannie Francis. Kane was adopted by Jill long ago. However, Jill prioritizes Kane over Billy every since time. Is this ever going to stop now that the truth is out? Kane is trying to take over all of the businesses in Genoa City. Kane intends to acquire Chancellor, Jabot, and Newman Enterprises. Instead of the man Jill helped raise, Kane has become his father. When is Jill going to put her own son first? Jill has been terrible to her son and she expects him to put up with this. How will Billy retaliate? Sally Spectra's forgiveness may be difficult for Billy Abbott. Billy may not be able to get past Sally turning to his mother for help. However, this may be Jill's way to make up selling Chancellor out from under Billy. Is there any way to fix things between Billy and Jill? Can Billy ever forgive his mother for everything she has done to him? Can Billy and Sally get past her seeking help from his mother? Will Jill finally see how crooked Kane is and help Billy to prove her love for her son? Will fixing the past with Billy finally be what Billy needs to be successful in his business life and his personal life as well? Will Billy and Sally manage to move on through their relationship and continue with their life together, or is Billy out once again? Kyle, stunned as true love Summer engaged to new man, rushes to stop her. The Young and the Restless spoilers suggest that Kyle Abbott, Michael Mealer, may learn shocking news about Summer Newman, formerly Alison Lanny, that has Kyle running to save her. Summer hit it off with a new man when she left Newman in Genoa City for a job that worked better for her at the time. Could things have progressed sufficiently quickly for this man to propose? Claire Newman needs time alone. Claire and Kyle were getting along great when Summer left town. However, that is not the case now that Claire broke things off with him. Claire asserts that she requires some time to consider her options. However, it is beginning to seem that Claire broke up with Kyle so she could see where her friendship with Holden Novak, Nathan Owens, might go. There have been sparks between Claire and Holden since the day they met. Claire did decide to walk until she's free so she can see where that relationship goes. For months, Kyle has portrayed Claire as his one and only love. Could it be that Kyle has come to the conclusion that Claire is not really the one? Is Summer who Kyle was really meant to be with? It's time for Claire Newman to move on. Claire is tired of having to be Little Miss Perfect and to do essentially what Kyle believes she should do. Claire is tired of being a good girl who does what everyone else expects. Instead, Claire wants to get out and live a little since she had never been allowed to do anything while growing up. Claire is interested in Holden and no one has the right to tell her to stay away. Fans are not happy with how the show has been written to downplay his relationship with Summer. Summer and Kyle have hurt each other, but they have always gotten back together every time they have split up. Is Kyle about to realize that Summer is his true love and how much he longs to have her back? Harrison Abbott could leak engagement news. Harrison Abbott, Reading Munsell, is back in town and could offer his dad some information on his mom and information that Kyle hasn't gotten a hold of yet. Will Harrison informs his father that his mother is engaged. Of course, Kyle will want to know more. Perhaps Harrison will tell his father more about Mommy and the new guy. How is he and what does he want? Kyle will certainly want to know how this guy is with kids. Kyle may insist on meeting this fellow before he agrees to have him around Harrison. Will Summer and Kyle realize they still need to be together and make up after all of this time? 1. A return that shakes Genoa City. When Jill Abbott, Jess Walton, returns to Genoa City, it's never just a homecoming, it's an event. Her arrival always triggers a ripple of emotions, business chaos, and family reckonings. This time, her return is prompted not merely by nostalgia or sentimentality but by two of Genoa City's most formidable titans, Jack Abbott, Peter Bergman, and Victor Newman, Eric Braeden. Both men, longtime frenemies and silent adversaries, have found themselves on the same side of a concern. Billy Abbott, Jason Thompson. Billy's latest spiral, born from wounded pride and unhealed resentment, has created concern across every corner of the Abbott and Chancellor legacy. Jack fears that his younger brother is once again headed toward self-destruction, while Victor sees opportunity, as he always does, in exploiting Abbott vulnerability. But Jill's return also has another layer of complexity. Sally Spectra, Courtney Hope. Sally, the fiery redhead who once burned bridges from Los Angeles to Genoa City, has found herself again at a professional crossroads. The resurrection of Abbott Communications, the dream she shared with Billy, has been thwarted by Kane Ashby's, Billy Flynn, manipulative sabotage and Jack's withdrawal of financial support. Jill's arrival provides Sally with a glimmer of hope, not only for her professional aspirations but for the man she loves. 2. Sally's desperation and resolve. Sally has walked the road of reinvention before. She has been the schemer, the survivor, the dreamer, and the romantic who always ends up paying the price for believing too deeply. Yet, something about Billy Abbott changed her. Unlike Adam Newman, whose darkness mirrored her own, Billy saw in her a spark of decency and resilience that reminded him of himself. Together, they dreamed of building Abbott Communications, a new venture that would merge Billy's journalistic instincts and Sally's creative vision. It was meant to be their redemption project, a company not just built on legacy but on passion and authenticity. But when Kane Ashby orchestrated a smear campaign and sabotaged their launch, the dream came crashing down. The hurt only got worse after Jack withdrew money. Sally saw Billy's anger turn into self-loathing, and for the first time, she decided to act out of love rather than for herself. That's when she made the decision to go to Jill Abbott. It's a risk that could cost her everything. Sally is familiar with Billy's tangled relationship with his mother, which includes years of resentment, betrayal, and parental dominance. However, she is also aware that Jill still possesses the financial resources and guilt necessary to remedy the situation. If Jill could invest in Abbott Communications, it could save Billy, professionally and emotionally. 3. Jill Abbott's dual nature. To understand Jill's potential reaction, one must understand her duality. Jill is both nurturer and manipulator, visionary and meddler. Her love for her sons, both biological and chosen, is fierce but often expressed through dominance rather than affection. Billy has been her Achilles heel. She loves him deeply, but she cannot seem to let him live without interference. Her decision to sell Chancellor Industries to Victor Newman, believing it was for the greater good, fractured her relationship with Billy almost beyond repair. In his eyes, she didn't just sell a company, she sold him. Kane, on the other hand, has long been the surrogate son who reflected back the version of motherhood Jill preferred to believe in, one of gratitude and stability. Yet, Kane's recent turn toward corporate greed and manipulation proves that Jill's chosen golden child may have been more like his father, Colin Atkinson, all along. So when Sally walks into Jill's orbit with a plea not for herself, but for Billy, Jill faces a rare emotional reckoning. 4. The meeting, Sally and Jill. The meeting between Sally and Jill isn't one of instant warmth. Jill knows Sally's history, her scandals, her relationship with Adam Newman, her professional failures. To Jill, Sally represents the kind of chaos that always seems to surround her son. Why should I trust you with my money? Jill might ask, voice dripping with skepticism and seasoned by years of hard-earned cynicism. Sally, however, doesn't flinch. This is her defining moment. Because you don't have to trust me, she'd reply. All you have to do is have faith that Billy still deserves a chance to show what he can do. The honesty in that statement cuts through Jill's defenses. Sincerity is something she hasn't seen in Sally in a long time. Sally is attempting to save Billy from himself, not to persuade or charm her way into a deal. Jill listens, weighing not just the business risks but the emotional cost of inaction. In the end, she decides to invest not out of good business sense but rather in the hope that assisting Sally will help her repair the relationship with her son. 5. The fallout. Billy's reaction. When Billy learns that Sally went to Jill for funding, his reaction is explosive. He sees betrayal as the first emotion, not gratitude. Of all people, Sally, my mother. He snaps, pacing across their shared workspace. You went to her? You know what she's done to me. Sally tries to explain, her voice trembling but firm. I didn't do it to hurt you, Billy. I did it because you're worth believing in. Because I believe in us. But for Billy, the wound runs deep. His issues with control and validation make it impossible to separate love from pride. He interprets Sally's actions as a vote of no confidence, another person deciding what's best for him. The argument becomes the emotional centerpiece of their story, love clashing with pride, redemption fighting with resentment. Yet, deep down, Billy knows Sally's intentions were pure. The question becomes whether he can swallow his pride long enough to see that Jill's gesture, through Sally, was her way of trying to heal what she broke years ago. 6. Jill and Billy, a mother-son reckoning. Jill doesn't expect Billy to forgive her easily. When she shows up at his office, the tension is thick with decades of unspoken hurt. Billy's voice drips with sarcasm. What's next now that you're investing in my company? Buying me a conscience too? But Jill doesn't rise to the bait. Instead, she surprises him with vulnerability. You're my son, Billy. I've made more mistakes than I can count, but this isn't one of them. I'm not buying your company. I'm giving you the chance I should have given you years ago. For a moment, Billy's anger falters. Jill, for once, isn't trying to control, she's trying to repair. It's not a full reconciliation, but it's a beginning. The Abbott legacy has always been one of complicated love. Jill's decision to fund Abbott Communications doesn't just breathe life into a company, it resurrects the possibility of healing a fractured family. 7. Kane Ashby's revenge. Meanwhile, Kane Ashby's ambition continues to grow darker. Kane vows to sabotage Abbott Communications internally after feeling betrayed by Jill's renewed focus on Billy. He has a variety of motives, including a desire to demonstrate that he is the true heir to Jill's empire, entitlement, and jealousy. But his methods are dangerous. He begins quietly buying up media resources, spreading rumors about Abbott Communications' instability, and feeding false information to the Newmans and the press. Kane's transformation into a ruthless mogul mirrors his father Colin's legacy, suggesting that the Atkinson bloodline may be doomed to corruption. Jill begins to see this too. For the first time, she realizes that her unconditional loyalty to Kane blinded her to his moral decay. 8. Kyle, Summer, and Claire, the parallel love triangle. While the Abbotts navigate their professional and emotional turmoil, another storm brews in the younger generation. Kyle Abbott, Michael Mealer, reeling from Claire Newman's, Haley Erin, sudden breakup, learns shocking news: Summer Newman, formerly Alison Lanny, is engaged to another man. This revelation forces Kyle to confront the one truth he's long avoided: he never truly stopped loving Summer. The storyline creates a fascinating parallel between Billy Sally Jill and Kyle Summer Claire. Both stories explore love's fragility when pride and timing interfere. Both the Abbotts are chasing what they fear they will never find again, and Kyle's haste to halt Summer's engagement serves as a symbolic mirror of his father's struggle to reclaim his sense of purpose. Meanwhile, Holden Novak, Nathan Owens, provides Claire, who is sick of living under the pressure of perfection, with some solace. For Claire, Holden represents freedom, a break from the suffocating expectations of the Newman name. But freedom, as Genoa City has shown time and again, always comes at a cost. 9. Harrison Abbott, the innocent messenger. Harrison Abbott, Redding Munsell, becomes the unintentional catalyst for change in one of the most moving subplots. When he innocently tells his father that Mommy's getting married, Kyle's world tilts off its axis. Harrison's words carry the kind of unfiltered truth that adults often try to ignore. For Kyle, the realization is instant: he still loves Summer, and is running out of time to prove it. For viewers, it's a bittersweet reminder of how The Young and the Restless excels at using its youngest characters to deliver the emotional punches adults can't articulate. 10. Legacy and redemption as themes. This entire narrative thread, from Sally's plea to Jill's return to Kyle's emotional chaos, ties together a broader theme: legacy and redemption. Jill, Billy, and Sally represent the cycle of mistakes and forgiveness that defines the Abbott family. Every generation repeats the emotional mistakes of the last, but with each turn, someone tries to break free. Sally's decision to reach out to Jill isn't just a plot device, it's symbolic. She's the outsider forcing the Abbotts to look inward, to heal the wounds they've spent decades ignoring. Kyle's storyline, in parallel, represents the cost of denial. Like Billy, he's forced to confront the uncomfortable truth that love requires humility and that sometimes, chasing pride means losing everything that truly matters. 11. Jill's turning point. Jill sits back and quietly observes Abbott Communications' growth under Billy and Sally's leadership. She watches her son succeed, not because of her control, but because of his own vision. It's a humbling moment for a woman who's spent her life trying to manage everything and everyone. For the first time, Jill feels peace, not because she's won, but because she's finally let go. Her relationship with Kane deteriorates as he continues his descent into corporate ruthlessness. Jill is forced to choose, and this time, she chooses Billy. It's a long overdue decision that signals not just family loyalty but character growth, a rare feat for someone as proud as Jill Abbott. 12. Sally and Billy, healing through trust. After their explosive argument, Sally and Billy's relationship begins to stabilize. Even though Billy thinks Sally's decision was wrong, he believes it was based on love and faith. In a quiet scene late one evening at the Abbott Communications office, Billy tells her, "You did what I couldn't, you believed in me when I didn't even believe in myself." It's a moment of mutual redemption. It is evidence to Sally that her impulsive heart can still serve the greater good. For Billy, it's the realization that letting someone in doesn't make him weak, it makes him human. Together, they rebuild their company and, more importantly, their trust. 13. Kyle's last-minute realization. The emotional climax of the episode is analogous to the fracas of young couples. Kyle rushes to stop Summer's engagement, his emotions raw and unfiltered. Standing outside the venue where Summer's fiancé prepares to make a speech, Kyle bursts in not as the polished Abbott heir, but as a man stripped of ego. His voice is shaking as he says, "Don't marry him. You're the only one I've ever really loved." It's classic Y&R, a moment of passion, vulnerability, and the eternal dance between timing and destiny. 14. The legacy continues. By the end of the arc, Abbott Communications emerges as a success, not just financially, but symbolically. It stands as proof that even in Genoa City, where betrayal and ambition rule, love and forgiveness can still shape the future. After putting some of her past wrongs right, Jill finally gets some peace. Billy and Sally emerge stronger, both professionally and romantically. Kyle and Summer's rekindled connection hints at a new beginning, while Claire and Holden's storyline teases the next generation of Genoa City drama. 15. Final thoughts. The story Sally gets money from Jill for Abbott Communications is more than just a romance or business deal, it's also a reflection on forgiveness, pride, and the never-ending quest for belonging. Every character, Jill, Billy, Sally, Kyle, Summer, and Claire, stands at a crossroads between repeating history and creating a new legacy. In the end, the message is simple yet profound. Love, when paired with courage and humility, can heal even the deepest family wounds.